All right, let's jump right into this explainer and crack open file hashtag 016. Today, we're investigating the chilling legends and the very real facts surrounding the Devil's Sea. Across the globe, there are just certain stretches of water that seem to hold on to their secrets a little bit tighter than the rest. So we're going to navigate one of the absolute most enigmatic maritime zones on the planet, separate the ancient folklore from documented history, and figure out exactly why this specific patch of ocean has captured the world's imagination for centuries. Here is exactly how we're going to break this down. 1. The Pacific's Bermuda Triangle. 2. The Lost Research Vessel. 3. Suspect 1. Natural Dangers. 4. Suspect 2. The Paranormal. And finally, 5. The Psychology of Mystery. Starting with Section 1, the Pacific's Bermuda Triangle, a truly global mystery. Now, you've almost certainly heard of the Bermuda Triangle, right? All those wild tales of ships just vanishing into thin air in the Atlantic. But thousands of miles away, sitting right off the coast of Japan, is its Pacific equivalent. And the stories are incredibly similar. We're talking massive vessels going missing, totally bizarre reports from seasoned sailors, and just this heavy, lingering sense of unanswered questions out on the water. And here's a pretty wild fact. Both of these infamous triangles actually sit on similar latitudes, around 35 degrees north, just on exact opposite sides of the globe. It creates this eerie, haunting symmetry to these deep-sea mysteries. In folklore, this area is known as the Devil's Sea, or sometimes the Dragon's Triangle. And look, this isn't just some modern internet creepypasta. This specific area has been connected to centuries of missing ships. Ancient Japanese legends literally warned sailors about these treacherous waters, claiming that massive, terrifying dragons lived just beneath the surface, waiting to drag unsuspecting crews straight down to the ocean floor. But how does an ancient legend about sea dragons become a modern global mystery? Well, for that, we need a catalyst. Moving to Section 2, the Lost Research Vessel. Let's ground this legend in reality. Picture this, it's the early 1950s, and Japan is actively hunting for answers in these waters. They're sending out ships specifically to investigate some really intense volcanic activity in the area. But by the mid-1950s, the hunters actually became the missing. A research vessel named the Kayo Maru No. 5 vanished completely without a trace while out on an expedition. By the late 1950s, this devastating loss was permanently woven into the mythology of the Devil's Sea. For a lot of people around the world, this wasn't just a tragic accident anymore. It was undeniable proof that something highly unusual was happening off the coast of Japan. Think about what this means. The Kayo Maru No. 5 was a heavily equipped, state-of-the-art ship. It was crewed by 31 professionals whose entire job was to study an underwater volcano, and yet they vanished. No distress call, no wreckage, just empty water. How does a massive, modern vessel, manned by absolute experts, just evaporate? The sheer terror of that reality really forced investigators and the public to ask what exactly claimed this ship. So, let's look at Section 3, Suspect 1, Natural Dangers, the geological reality of the situation. The truth is, the region near Japan is defined by intense, violent geological and meteorological activity. We're talking about powerful ocean storms that can whip up out of nowhere, totally unpredictable weather patterns, deep underwater volcanoes, and devastating marine earthquakes. So, a disappearing ship doesn't always need a supernatural explanation, right? The Pacific Ocean itself is this volatile, churning engine that creates serious, life-threatening risks for even the most advanced maritime vessels. We really have to remember that the ocean floor is still one of the least explored places on Earth. It's pitch black, highly pressurized, and essentially an alien environment right here on our own planet. Beneath the waves, violent volcanic events can happen in total secrecy. These events can radically alter the water's surface, create immense rogue waves, or even release massive amounts of gas that can suddenly destroy a ship's buoyancy and pull it straight down to the bottom. Sometimes the ocean itself is just the ultimate uncaring adversary. But what about Section 4, Suspect 2, the Paranormal, taking us beyond science? Because, let's be honest, when scientific answers fall short, or a vessel just goes missing without a single trace, folklore is always going to step in to fill those gaps. Much like the Bermuda Triangle, stories constantly circulate about strange magnetic fields, causing massive compass failures and total navigational collapse. And from there, the theories expand into the truly wild stuff. Unknown forces operating beneath the ocean, interdimensional portals, lost ancient civilizations, and mysterious, unidentified sea creatures. When a ship simply vanishes, the human mind is incredibly willing to entertain these paranormal explanations just to make sense of the void. Humans have explored more of space than the deepest parts of our own oceans. When you truly internalize that quote, it makes complete sense why we're so quick to attribute disappearing ships to unknown forces. We literally have no idea what is down there in the darkest depths. The ocean has always inspired stories about the unknown simply because it remains the greatest unknown on our planet. Our innate, primal fear of what lies beneath the surface makes these paranormal theories actually feel pretty logical to the human brain. Which brings us to our final section. Section 5, the psychology of mystery and why these legends survive. The Devil's Sea builds its enduring legend by combining three incredibly primal human fears. Step 1, the fear of the unknown. That's our natural, hardwired anxiety about things we just can't see or understand. That blends directly into Step 2, the immense, uncontrollable power of the ocean, nature's ultimate unstoppable force. And finally, Step 3, the terrifying concept of vanishing without a trace, the absolute lack of closure. When you weave those three elements together, you create the perfect psychological recipe for a mystery. Because if the final piece of evidence is never found, the mystery survives every single time the story is retold. So I'll leave you with this. Is the Devil's Sea truly a mysterious paranormal zone, or is it just a deadly, misunderstood ocean wrapped up in centuries of storytelling? Perhaps the absolute truth lies somewhere right in the middle, between undeniable geological fact and ancient legend. The waves are going to keep moving, and the ocean will undoubtedly keep its secrets. But until we know for sure what actually happened to the Kayo Maru number 5 and all the other vessels swallowed by the deep, File 016 remains open. Keep questioning, keep analyzing, and as always, stay curious.